The little thing right here says I'm live. I'm hoping I'm live. If you get a chance, just drop a comment and let me know if you can see me and hear me and all of that stuff. If you don't know me, if I just accidentally popped up onto your social media and you're like, who is this lady? My name is Pam Barnhill. I am a homeschooling mom of three kids, um, but I'm only homeschooling one, which is crazy. Oh my goodness. So crazy. Um, like I'm gonna get verklempt. I'm just saying. It's insane that I just graduated my second one. But hello. So happy to be live with you. I asked Dawn. Dawn Garrett's my sidekick. We have been together for 10 whole years, right? Dawn, is it 9 or 10? It's like it's close. And I asked her, like, what would you like to do this summer? What would be fun? And she says, oh, let's start doing lives again. And I'm like, okay, let's start doing lives again. So that is what we are doing. Figuring out the chat. Good. I'm glad you are. So we just wanted to come on and chat with you about any number of fun homeschooling topics. We're going to be talking all about vision this week. And yeah, vision is actually one of my favorite homeschooling topics. And I think it's one of those overrated little topics that people really don't talk a whole lot about. A lot of times, hey there, Allegra, how are you doing? A lot of times when people think, oh, I'm going to homeschool. First of all, they kind of freak out, which I totally get and understand. And they're then like, I need to buy some curriculum. That's the first thing I need to do first. And I think that's what our mind always goes to is we need to find curriculum. We need to go by the source that's going to tell us what it is we need to be doing. Or they think I need to buy a planner. Or maybe they think I need to set up a homeschool room. All of those things need to come after you create your homeschool vision. The homeschool vision actually comes first. And the reason why the homeschool vision comes first is because it is going to inform the curriculum that you buy. It's going to inform the schedule that you put in that planner. It's even going to inform some of the things that you put in that schoolroom, or maybe whether or not you need a schoolroom at all, right? And so the vision comes before all of those things because it's kind of the first big step that helps you plan all of those other things out. We can waste a lot of money. Been there, done that. Tell me in the chat if you've ever wasted any money, right? We can waste a lot of money. We can waste a lot of time doing things that if we had just stopped and written our vision first, it would have saved us. It would have saved us a lot of money. It would have saved us a lot of time. It would have saved us maybe some heartache. There's a learning process that goes into homeschooling. There's a learning process that goes into setting up your homeschool. And it's something we've all got to go through. Like, I can stand here and tell you like all the lessons I learned while homeschooling, and I think it's really good for you to hear all of those lessons. Like, you're probably going to take some little nuggets away from them, but you're not going to have the same lived experience as me, right? And so some of those things you just have to find out by doing them yourself. Yes, Melinda, yes, so much money. And you know what? Even after I had my homeschool vision, I still wasted some money. I'm not going to beat myself up over that. Actually, that just reminded me. Hold on, I'm going to make a note. Um, I have something I need to pass along to a friend. It was something that I bought and I ended up not using. And so I told her I would give it to her, and then I totally forgot to take it to her. So actually, let me write myself a little note so I remember to take that to her. And I've done that so many times where I've just like, I've gotten something and it hasn't worked out for my family. Actually, the very first thing I ever bought for our homeschool was it was a preschool curriculum way back when my daughter was like 2.5 or 3 years old. And I bought it and I tried to use it with my daughter. She was probably too young at the time and like rejected the idea altogether. Olivia can be a little headstrong sometimes. and rejected the idea altogether. And so I ended up giving it to a friend of mine for her to use. I think I got it back when she was done with it. I don't think we ever ended up using it. It just ended up being not a great fit for us and for our family. But I gave it to my friend to use for a while, and it worked great for her kid. It worked absolutely great for her kid. So just lessons learned. We waste some money. All the things. Yes, yes, Allegra, I get it. I get it. So anyway, vision, really important. Let's go ahead and think about a few things before we start to make purchases, before we start to make plans, before we even start to organize pretty things on the shelf, right? Let's go ahead and sit down and think about what are some of the ways that we want our homeschool to be? And I tell people when you're creating a homeschool vision, you really want to focus on the atmosphere of your home. A lot of people tend to think of homeschool visions as these aspirational things about, oh, my kid's going to be this, and my kid's going to do this, and my kid's going to act this way, and my kid's going to accomplish this, and all of those kinds of things. And honestly, we don't have a lot of control over how our kids end up. It's amazing. And if you're on my email list, you may actually see this in an email coming up because this had such an impact on me. And I think it was maybe my friend Diana Kennedy who shared it. But she'd shared something on Facebook about one thing we can't control as moms is our kids' testimony. And that really, really kind of grabbed me. It's like, oh, that's so true. You don't get to control their testimony. You don't get to control what they do, where they go, what their journey's like, all of that kind of stuff. There's so much as parents we don't get to control. So when you think about writing a homeschool vision, I don't want you to think, oh, my kid's going to go to MIT and they're going to get all of these scholarships and they're going to be a piano virtuoso and they're going to accomplish this or they're going to accomplish that. That's the kind of stuff that we can't control. And so that's not the kind of stuff that we put in our homeschool vision because, we're just setting ourselves up to not be able to control things. What we can control, though, is the atmosphere of our home. And that's the kind of stuff that we put in our homeschool vision. What do we want the atmosphere of our home to be like on a day-by-day basis? And yes, it is aspirational, especially if you have toddlers, right? It may not look like you want it to all the time. So it's definitely aspirational, and that is not a bad thing. But what do we want the atmosphere of our home to be like? And what kind of things can we think about that we can control? And I discovered that a lot of times that was my attitude about things. My attitude about my kids and their work, about the things that we studied, about the things that we loved and enjoyed and all of that kind of stuff. And so those are the kinds of things that you want to think about when you're creating your homeschool vision. What is the atmosphere of our home like? What are the things that I can control? Hint, hint, it's you. It's your attitude. It's how you act. It's the things that you do, right? And so those are the kinds of things that you want to put in your homeschool vision. And then what does your vision look like? It can take so many different forms. You could make a vision board if you're one of those artsy people, if you love big visual things. I mean, you could just take an old school piece of poster board and print out pictures and words and things from the internet and cut them up and just get like sticky and dirty and make this beautiful visual thing that you can look at. If you're more of a technology girl, you could go on Canva and you could create a beautiful homeschool vision using just the images and the pictures that they have there and some of the words. It doesn't have to be visual at all. If you're the kind of person who really sees in words and sees in metaphors and analogies and things like that, your vision could even be a poem if you wanted it to. If you live and love in sonnets, iambic pentameter, like go for it and make your vision like that as well. Mine was always just a series of statements. It was just a series of about 10 statements. I will say if you start getting a lot more than 10, if you get like more than a dozen, you might be getting a little too in the minutia, because a vision is kind of like a 10,000 foot view. So mine was always a series of statements. And I would use statements like, I aspire to statements. Like in our home, we're going to study these kinds of things. One of our things was we're going to work to mastery in skill-based subjects because I knew that I wanted my kids to be able to master these skills because then they could go out and learn anything. So that was something that was important to me. We took just a very small handful of skill-based subjects, and those were kind of our non-negotiables, and we worked on those to mastery. But that also meant there was a whole other body of stuff out here that we didn't work on to mastery. We went for exposure. We went for love of learning. So you're like, oh, Pam, you're such a taskmaster, like you're working to mastery. Nope, it was a very small handful of things that we worked to mastery on, right? And then I had refuse to statements. So working to mastery was like an aspire to statement. And then a refuse to statement was something like, we refuse to bury our heads in the book so much that we never get out and learn from the world around us. I didn't want to not do field trips. I didn't want to not take advantage of museums and not take advantage of, the opportunity to be in a co-op or to go to a play or even just to spend time in nature or stuff like that because we were so hyper-focused on just the bookwork, right? So I made a refuse to statement about that. So all of these series of statements were really kind of the guiding light to my homeschool. And I would pull those out and look at them every summer before I made my homeschool plans, before I bought curriculum, before I went to a homeschool curriculum fair, when I sat down and did my schedule for the year, just to remind me of the things that were really important to us. I wanted to remember that. And so that vision was that guiding document. It was that guiding light for me. And it really did. It would save me a lot of money on things like curriculum because I would see something really bright and shiny on the internet and I would think, oh, I need that thing. That's going to solve all my problems. And then I would hold it up to my vision and I would be like, maybe it's not quite the best thing for us after all. And it really did kind of save me from making some of those mistakes. So I would challenge you, Dawn, I don't know if you've dropped it yet or not, but just we do have a free vision webinar where I kind of walk you through. You're going to hear a lot of the same stuff again where I talk about what a vision is and then I kind of walk you through one way to do it. We teach multiple ways of creating a vision, and we even have some ChatGPT prompts for you if you're the kind of person who likes to throw something into ChatGPT in our autopilot class. And June is bonus month for autopilot. So our autopilot bonus is coming out on the 17th of June. And even if you bought today, you can still get that bonus. Don will drop the autopilot link for you as well. And that is our premier homeschool planning course where we walk you step by step, starting with step 1, which is creating your vision. And then how do you use that to create a homeschool plan that's going to calm the chaos and actually work for your family. And we've had thousands of homeschool families go through the course, and it's really made a huge impact for them and for their lives. And so step back and think about it. What is important to me in my homeschool? What are the kinds of things that I want the atmosphere of my home to be like? How do I control? What can I control? And how do I want to think about controlling it? And back to the only thing you can control is you. So just what can I control? It's you. It's you, right? So, okay. I will be back again next week. I will be back again next week at 3 p.m. Central Time because I do live in the Central Time Zone. It is lovely and warm here. And I'm not sure what the topic is. Back in the day, we did 5 years worth of Facebook Lives. Gosh, when did we do that, Dawn? From 2014 to 2019, we did 5 whole years worth of Facebook Lives. And a lot of times we didn't decide until the day before, the day of, what the topic was going to be. So we'll be back again next week. We'll have another homeschooling topic for you. If you have a topic that you would like for me to talk about, reach out to Dawn. You can either leave a comment down below and one of us will see it, or you can reach out to info@pambarnhill.com. That's Dawn's email address. She'll get those topics and kind of make us a running list, and we would be happy to talk about anything that you want us to talk about. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. We really, really appreciate it. Let me see. I'm just going to scroll back through the comments. Oh, great conversation about vision going on. Love it. Love it. Okay. Well, you guys, I'm going to check those after we're done. And you guys have an awesome, awesome day. And I'll see you next week. Bye.